going to share my I story because a lot of you don't know me first. That's what I'll start with. So when Mary Kay found me, I was 19 years old, and I was a D1 college athlete who worked 2 jobs, which was kind of annoying because none of the other athletes worked because like their sport paid for everything or their parents paid for everything. So along with being busy, I was broke because I was paying for everything. And so, and I didn't really know it at the time, but I was really unfulfilled, and I was so drained emotionally, physically, and mentally, and I blame that on an abusive relationship that I was in and stuck in for years. And I think Tina specifically, and just a positive community of Mary Kay for getting me out of that situation. And anyway, before Mary Kay, I was super shy, and like I said, not confident at all. And a little like side story, and actually some of my girls are from my hometown, West Carrollton, so y'all might remember this. But my senior year in high school, I was on student council, and I was just like, I was like the treasurer or something. I just wanted to be there. I wanted to sit at the front at graduation. But our class president got kicked off, and so I was the next one up. And I sat in the line like, yeah, I'll be the senior class president. I want to be a leader, but I was really quiet. And after I signed the line, they told me I had to speak and run graduation. And I was like, what? I can't do that. Like, I'm terrified of microphones. I'm still kind of terrified of microphones. But I was so scared, and literally at graduation, I froze at the podium and forgot what I was supposed to say. And like, I just stood there, and my best friend was the student body president, and she came up and saved me. But like, I don't know if the audience knew, but I totally just like forgot, because I was so nervous. That's just how shy I was, to put that into perspective. And so, anyway, when Mary Kay found me, it was because my recruiter, Taylor Collier, came to my dorm room in the middle of the summer, and she was like, what, 8, like super pregnant. And she walked up like 3 flights of stairs to my dorm, and she shared what she did, and I honestly laughed because she sold makeup. Like, how ridiculous is that? And I didn't like girls. I just didn't have a positive relationship with them. I was like, I don't like girls, and I don't know how to do makeup, and I know nothing about skincare. This is not my thing. I'm not interested. But I was just a nice person, and she told me she had a goal, and so I went and got coffee with her and Tina France. And I remember like that conversation, and I remember actually loving what they were sharing with me and thinking it was super cool, but I was just not good enough to do what they were doing. And it wasn't anything, like, they were super approachable and down to earth, and I remember the whole thing, but I just didn't think I was good enough to do what they were doing. But I still went home and shared with my parents because I was really excited like about what they were telling me. And my parents are super supportive, but when you're young and you go home and you like share something like this, I don't know if you all have like young unit members, but parents are most of the time not supportive. And so my mom, she was like, well, I'm not going to tell you no, but it probably won't work. My dad said, heck no, you're not selling Mary Kay. But I clearly didn't listen, and at my director debut, my dad actually walked out to Taylor, and I think he scared her a little bit. At first, he was like, are you the one that walked into my daughter's dorm room? And she was like, yeah. And he was like, thank you. And he thanked her for sharing it with me, and he was glad that I didn't listen to him, because him being at that debut and like seeing what I actually do and what these women are pouring into me and me pouring into women, it really meant a lot to him. So anyway, I'm just like many, I came into Mary Kay because Taylor offered me a free mascara, and I went to Tina's meeting, and I love the positive community. And so that's why I said yes, really, just the positivity that you all have. I mean, you all know that. And so I'm really like a lot of you before Mary Kay and as a consultant. And I came to my first fall advance as a new consultant, and I had just missed that Move Up in Red deadline, and I was devastated. And I know specifically some of you that have just missed a goal, whether it was the red jacket or DIQ or finishing your car or whatever, and I know that feeling, and it's super devastating, but it's okay because it's just a new month. Like, it's fine. You have more time. It's not the end of the world. And so I came to this event in that position. But what also happened at that event was my first of many decisions. And my first one was hearing Jeannie Martin. She was the first national I ever heard speak, and she has such a place in my heart now. And she shared how she asked, is my reality someone else's fantasy? And her reality was my fantasy. Like, her life was crazy. Like, it was a dream life, and I decided right then and there, this company is a dream company. It's the best opportunity for women. And I don't have a dream to be a leader, but I'm not leaving. Like, I want to be in this company and just be in it because it's amazing. So I decided that. And later on, her daughter, Amy Kim, was talking about breaking down goals, and Amy's from, well, she lives in Chicago, so it's kind of cool that my first, like, my big goal to spend big girl money on was a trip to Chicago, because I love Chicago, and to go to a Cubs game at Wrigley Field, and so I made a huge decision then. That's what I was working for, and the next season I actually paid for a whole trip and Cubs tickets at Wrigley Field with Mary Kay money. So those were like the first two decisions I made. And so fast forward to my second fall dance, which was just last year, and I was super close to DIQ. I was in a red jacket, but I was really scared of leadership and not really committed to be a leader. And I realize now, looking back, that I didn't have a why, or I didn't have the right why. And we talked about this in the DIQ class earlier, but I thought, like, once I was a sales director, I could quit working, because like, I'd be making good money, and like, I'm just gonna do sales director and that's it. Like, I didn't see past that, and so if that's you right now, I really encourage you to like rethink that. Think what's next, what's after directorship, because that's not gonna get you there if you don't have anything after. And so that was me, and this second fall dance changed my whole life. I had two major mind shifts, and I don't really know how to tie them together, so sorry if I jump around, but I really wanted to talk about both of them. And the first one, like I said, I was super close to DIQ, but my number one limiting belief was just that I'm not a leader and not good enough to lead women or to mentor them. And we were sitting at this event, and I don't know if it was April, or somebody asked us to write a letter to our mentors. And I wrote my letter to Tina, because she was my director, and my best friend and my first team member, Ashley, was sitting next to me. And I just assumed she was writing her letter to Tina as well, because she was our director. And at the end, she handed me that letter. And that was like a moment that I'll never forget. And at that moment, I realized that I was being so selfish for not leading her, or leading the rest of my team, and it's just not fair. When you have people under you or looking up to you, and you don't feel like you can lead them. It's not fair to them, because they deserve to be poured into with belief. So when I broke that belief barrier and believed in myself, I was able to breathe belief into them, and they grew. Along with me, I grew, and because I didn't do this alone, like, I'm not here alone. My team is amazing. Bree and her team is amazing, and so because I was able to believe in myself, because of the help of my mentors, Tina and Julia and everyone, we did that. And so if you're scared of leadership, stop being scared, because it's so selfish. We've all heard there's so many people's dreams attached to ours, and by you holding yourself back, you're holding them back. So stop doing that. And I also made another decision when she handed me that letter, and it was, I'm going to share this opportunity with more people than just my best friends, because I think Bree was on my team at the time, and it was just all my friends, and I was like, this is meant for more women. And so I finally decided to step into that leadership position that I was being called to, even though I didn't feel ready. And Amy Kim said at seminar, and she heard it from a pastor, if you are a woman and you are called to leadership, then for God's sake, lead. If you are a woman and you're called to leadership, for God's sake, lead. And she said that, and that stuck with me, and that was just recently, and that was just amazing. And so Julia told you all a couple times, and she told me a few days ago that she remembers me coming up to her and telling her I'm going to be a sales director next time I'm here. And now here we are as the #1 unit. And so if I can do this, then you can do this too. And the second mind shift I had, that event was a big one, and it came from April's #1 director speech when she said the word free. And I really liked how she shared her past and like what she was free from, and I was defining free for myself so wrong for a really long time, like almost a whole year. And I thought once I got out of that bad relationship, I would be free, but I still wasn't when I got out. And I thought, like, when I found the man of my dreams and was in a new relationship, I'd be free, and I'm a lot happier, but I still didn't really feel free. And I thought when I got promoted and I was a director, and when I made more money, because surely when I have more money, I'll be free, because financial stress is the worst. But I still didn't feel that way. And when I could finally quit my real job, like my clock in, clock out job, I would be free. But I still wasn't. I had all these amazing things happening in my life, but something was still missing. I still felt worried sometimes, and I still felt stressed a lot, and I was trying to control things that I couldn't control, just trying to control everything, and I'm not in control. And so that's when I came to my senses for real and found my faith. And I realized, you guys, Jesus sets us free. Trusting in the Lord with all your heart sets you free. Knowing when things get tough, His love is unconditional. And when you don't get why things are the way they are and why they're not going your way, He has a plan, and trusting in that plan is freeing. And just being comfortable with, I'm not happy with the way things are going and they're not going my way, but I can let go and let God, and that's freeing. And this relationship with Him has helped me overcome all obstacles that have come my way. And it really is true that fear is a liar, but it's also true that, doing things that scare you is necessary for success, but you can go all in knowing that God's got you. So what was my mindset during, this shift? And I kind of wanted to share with you, the mindset, or the view from someone else. And so just a few days ago, the directors who earned time with Lisa got a little questionnaire, and it asked to put 2 or 3 sentences about us. And I wrote my own sentences about me, but I was kind of curious, and so I actually asked Jake how he would describe me in 2 or 3 sentences, and he said, I was passionate and dedicated, and I'm excited still about Mary Kay, the same, if not more excited than I was when he met me. And I keep the goals and the grind in my head every day, and that's the thing, you guys. You have to decide to be dedicated. You have to decide to look forward at all times. I think somebody mentioned that earlier. You just never look back. You keep looking forward, and keep your vision crystal clear right in front of you, because a confused mind is robbed of all power. And nothing is as powerful as a mind made up. And my devotional the morning that I thought about what I wanted to talk about was actually titled God's Thoughts, and it was about the power of your brain and your thoughts. And it said, we have the power to control what we think, and consequently we have the power to control who we become, because we are what we think. And Proverbs 23:7 says, as he thinks in his heart, so is he. Manage your mind so your mind doesn't manage you. Your thoughts control your days, which become weeks, which turn into months and years, and then your life, and you look back and you're like, whoa, that was fast. So, and these thoughts affect you mentally, emotionally, and physically. And so what consistent daily thoughts are you thinking and acting on? And do they match the life you want? Because those daily thoughts are going to turn into your life. And thoughts are kind of like a train. So this was from my devotional too, but I really liked it. And just like a real train, you can hop off trains of thought. Don't let the train control where you go. As you're on a train of thought, pay attention to the destination it's taking you to, and jump the tracks every time you need to, and consciously decide where your thoughts are and where they are going to take you, because that's exactly where you're going to go. And so I encourage you all to be positive all the time. Every time you have a negative thought, replace it with 3 positive things. Bree does that. I think she said that. And be optimistic. Just be happy. Find the good in everyone that you talk to. Find the good in every situation that you're in, and be humble. And make up your dang mind. And I want to ask you all 2 questions, and write down your answers to these 2 questions. And then later, maybe share them with your sales director if you're a consultant, or with Julia if you're a director. And you've all probably heard them, but just really right now think about, what do you want? What do you want in Mary Kay? What position do you want? What car do you want to drive? How much money do you want to make? What do you want, Mary Kay? And write down why you want it. Why do you want to be a sales director? Why do you want to be a national? Why do you want to drive a pink Cadillac? And I know you all are thinking of pouring into other people and changing people's lives and probably your families, but why do you want to do it for you? Why are you doing that for you? My last thing is, trust me when I say, because this got me at DIQ and through, a made-up mind finishes. And when your why is big enough, the how will emerge. So you can sit here right now and decide, I'm going to be at leadership as a sales director. And you have no dang clue how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen because your mind is made up. So what are you deciding right now? Woo!